welcome to Sales Psychology 101. I'm your host, Scott Syverson. What I want to do is talk to you about sales eagles, the top 5% in sales. What are they doing differently than everybody else? What makes them the top 5%? Statistics show that a small group of salespeople tend to usually dominate every country in the top 5% of the sales. You've often heard phrases such as the top 25% account for the bulk of sales. And again, statistics measure that out. There's also an old adage you might have heard that says the top 20% account for 80% of the sales. Well, that may not necessarily be true, but it's close enough that there's enough smoke and fire to make that actually work. What I want to do is talk about putting you in that top 5%. I'm going to do that by exposing you to the latest in science called Paradaptive Intelligence, a model that I've worked over the last 24 years to develop that will help you understand what exactly the brain is programmed to do in terms of how it processes a buying decision. And that's why that top 5% are the top 5%. They have an intuitive sense about how to best present materials to let the brain naturally process it. And they basically have this intuitive understanding, but when you ask them, why do you do what you do? How come you're doing that? They can't explain to you the why, the when, the where, the what, or the who. The one thing that they can do is explain to you or ask you to do is to explain the how. They ask that by asking you to imitate them. They don't know what it is that makes it work, what they're proposing makes it work, and they don't know if it's going to work for you in your particular area of the sales kingdom. If you go to bookstores or video sites, you're going to see two different types of materials that are introduced. You'll see a whole bunch of what I call show me or imitate me type of videos where they're going to show you something that works for them. They can't explain any of why it does that. They ask you to try this or try that because it's worked for them. Again, it may or may not work for you, but again, they can't explain any of the who, what, where, how, why, or when. You'll also see a bunch of statistical narratives that will tell you that X% of the time, when you say this phrase, it has this percentage of success factor, or this type of question will produce X amount of sales in some sort of proportion. Again, while they may be valid in stating that that particular phrase will get you this result, they make no attempt to explain how that occurs. How does that question cause a sale? None of them can explain, no matter where you go. And the reason is because we have not had a good understanding of how the brain is programmed to process a buying decision. That stops here, and that stops now, starting with this video. The goal of this video, as I stated, is to put you in the top 5% of your sales of wherever you go, because the skills I'm going to expose you to are transferable anywhere. They don't pertain to just whatever it is you're doing now. I'm going to expose you to a model called Paradaptive Intelligence. It is a model that I've spent over the last 24 years developing with one of the top research scientists in psychology in the field of emotions. Now, don't let the word emotions scare you. When we're through with this series of videos, emotions will be your best friend. You will have complete control and understanding of them. The model I'm going to be introducing you to, Paradaptive Intelligence, is a very powerful model. It explains all human behavior, not just sales behavior, all human behavior. For the purposes of this video and the following videos, we're only going to use that portion of the model that pertains to the professional salesperson in the selling arena and selling behavior. It is based on the latest science, peer-reviewed medical journal published. But we're going to save the science for right now. The last video of this series will be dedicated to explaining the science and putting it out before you so that you can be assured that what you're getting is not pseudoscience, not theory, not somebody's wishes come true. We will only use portions of the Paradaptive Intelligence model to explain what is DNA and programmed within every human to process a buying decision. In order to do this, we have to talk about emotions. Emotions are the primary adaptive tool of the engine. But emotions are incredibly precise. When you know what the operating rules and functionality of emotions are, you will come to learn that Swiss clocks wish they were as precise as emotions. I, as a marketing and sales professional, prefer people tell me their emotions because it precisely tells me what is going on in the processing of their brain. The Paradaptive Intelligence model will show how emotions will control every aspect of all human behavior within the sales cycle. So in order to make you an Eagle at top 5%, my goal is to make you an expert on emotions. And these emotions are paramount. They are the main architecture of the brain's entire functionality. All this will make sense if you'll bear with me through this series of videos. And the reason why this will make sense is you will see that all this behavior is DNA encoded. You can go anywhere in the world and observe what I will teach you. It is not language dependent, it is not cultural dependent. It is programmed in every human being. Not only do emotions within the Paradaptive Intelligence model control all behavior, they also control relationship formation, how you form relationships with people. And I will cover both behavioral, the buying and selling, purchasing aspect of it, as well as how relationships are developed, so you'll understand when you meet clients and when you meet people how to further and develop relationships faster and better. Why is it important to be a master and expert in emotions? Well, to be professionals, salespeople like you must know the biochemical mechanism that is the brain that controls your objective, a sale. By knowing how the brain is programmed to evaluate a buying decision, you'll be working within the brain's architecture. You won't be working against it. This will allow you to work much more efficiently with a lot less labor because you'll know what the brain wants and when it needs it, instead of wasting your time using other methods and techniques which will work against you. You'll be able to work quickly by knowing what the brain wants, and when it needs it, you will be able to provide the information on time, on target, and move things along much quicker. This will help you eliminate errors in the sales cycle. And almost everybody out there is introducing errors because you do not understand how the brain is programmed to evaluate your information. Paradaptive Intelligence will also help you develop better relationships. In sales, there are two things: the item or service that you're selling and the relationship you're developing with that person. Both of these fall under the Paradaptive Intelligence model, and I will show you precisely how the brain processes both aspects within the sales cycle. And lastly, one of the most interesting things about understanding and using the Paradaptive Intelligence model in the sales industry is this will harden your clients against your competition. Well, how so? It will show you how to develop great relationships, and it will also show you how to effectively and quickly supply them what they need, thus making you the person of choice or the go-to person next time they have a problem or need. This is what the top 5% in sales are doing. They're using an intuitive sense of the Paradaptive Intelligence model, but through the series of videos I'm going to be presenting to you, I will break this down into millisecond by millisecond how the brain is processing and what they're doing, which will be able to explain to you, which the top 5% never can, why they do what they do when they do it. A couple of cautions though. Paradaptive Intelligence works vastly different than your current concepts and understandings of how the brain works. Based on my experience in introducing this new science to salespeople, it generally takes several months to fully implement and fully get how to use the Paradaptive Intelligence model to your advantage. The biggest hurdle that I face when I speak to professional salespeople is getting rid of their bad habits, their bad ideas, and the unsupported concepts which they've used to approach the sales industry. I'll speak very plainly. Most of what you know is wrong and is not supported in any science whatsoever. Most of what you know falls within what I call sales lore. We've done it forever. It's always worked. Occasionally it produces results, and so people take it as gospel. That's not what I'm going to be introducing to you. I'm talking about cutting to the quick of what the brain needs and wants and knowing how it operates so that you can get to it as quickly and efficiently as possible. Once you understand this, your world will explode. You will see the brain working, the mechanism of the brain working everywhere you go in all phases of your life. And the model will help you in not only just sales, but it will help you in all other phases of your professional life and personal life. Once you get this, you will know why people are doing what they're doing before they know, or if they will even know why they are doing what they're doing. And that's a very powerful place to come in sales. It will definitely put you in the lead position to control your sales and to control the sales process. The purpose of this video is not to make you a master in the Paradaptive Intelligence model. There's just not enough time for me to give it to you all. So you do need to buy my book, Sales Psychology 101, Paradaptive Intelligence, the grand unifying theory of adaptation, consumer behavior, and sales. Yes, it is a grand unifying theory that is incredibly powerful. It is available on Amazon and other fine booksellers. I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.